Hello friends, my name is Pavneet and I am an author of International Relations book published by McGraw-Hill Education and also an author of the Current Affairs book for 2021 prelims with McGraw-Hill Education. I teach at Unacademy and at this platform I take courses on international relations, security issues and current affairs. There's a current affair program that I have launched from the month of June in which we will be covering the current events of the month of May. And this program is now going to continue free of cost for all the aspirants for the next 1 year. All you need to do to access this course is download the Unacademy app and use the Pavneet 10 code and thereby have access to this particular course and the classes that we take. The schedule for the classes is available on my profile as well as on my Telegram channel. Friends, when we do talk about current affairs, there's a very important concept of current affairs called the backward linkages. And in this video, my objective is to tell you what that concept is. When the UPSC asks a question in the prelims, there are two types of questions. One, there is a question which is purely current oriented. This means that they may pick up something from the current affairs, they may pick up something from the newspaper, they may pick up a line from the editorial or the op-editorial article and make a question out of it. But sometimes, friends, it's not necessary that the question may be purely current oriented question. We do have a lot of questions which constitute around 45 to 50% of the paper, which are called static questions. Static questions basically mean those questions which are from the subjects, the core subjects. But my friend, I want to tell you one thing, that those questions that come from the so-called static area, they may be called static because they are found in the books. But friends, don't forget one thing. Even those 45 to 50% questions which are the so-called static questions also owe their origin from the current affairs. And if you are able to master that, then you will have a high chance of success in the preliminary exam. But the question that arises is that how do you identify from the current those questions which they are going to ask in the static? This is where a concept which I have analyzed over a period of many years of my teaching have come to the conclusion is called the concept of backward linkages. So what exactly is this backward linkage? A backward linkage, in a very simple manner, friends, is something in the news which is related to the static subject, which we need to dig deep within the static subject and then analyze it. I'll give you a simple example, friends. So let's say in the state of Haryana, now this is just a hypothetical example, friends, that I am taking to explain you the concept. Let's say in the state of Haryana, some excavation happened. And in that excavation, a spoon, which is basically used for consuming food, was basically discovered by the excavators. Now friends, there are two types of aspirants who respond to this kind of a news item that may come in the paper. One type of aspirants, what they will do is that they will make notes that there has been a spoon found in the Harappan civilization site somewhere in Haryana. These kind of aspirants unfortunately have a minuscule chance of success in this exam. Why? Because they are not doing what the UPSC wants them to do. And this is where, friends, the concept of backward linkage comes into play. So what exactly is this backward linkage and how do you identify? Let me take the same example. So let's say there was a spoon found in Haryana in an Indus Valley site where it was excavated. This is where you need to do some application of your brain. That if a spoon has been found related to Indus Valley, then the question that arises in your mind is what are those potential things that the UPSC could ask me in the prelims related to this? And if you start backtracing your mind to develop those linkages, that what could be potential questions here, that means that you are working on what is called as backward linkage. So I hope that the concept is clear to you. Now, as I just said, friends, that we took this example of, a spoon which was basically found in the state of Haryana somewhere in a site where which was an Indus Valley site. So as I said, if you start doing the backtracing activity, backtracing means that if you start applying your brain and start thinking that what are the potential areas on which UPSC can now ask me a question. One thing is very clear, friends. A question on the dietary pattern of the Indus Valley people could be asked. Why? Because the spoon has been discovered as such. This is a very layman example, friends, because I want you to understand the concept. Similarly, the UPSC can ask you a question telling you to compare the dietary pattern of the Indus Valley civilization and the Vedic civilization, which succeeded the Indus Valley civilization. So the idea here, friends, is to understand and predict that how can we analyze, identify, and prepare those backward linkages in every subject. Now, it is relatively difficult for new aspirants to develop this ability, and only very senior and aspirants who have a lot of experience in this exam, they are basically in a position to identify this ability as such. But in order to help the student community at large, I have decided to help you in this process, my friends. And as I said some time back, that I have already launched a program on current affairs where I teach you current affairs through a workbook. The workbook is available on my Telegram channel as well. You can download the workbook for the month of May. We already have taken classes on the topics which are subject-wise current affairs. I teach current affairs not only from one newspaper, my friends. I teach current affairs from 6 newspapers, so that you get a very comprehensive, in-depth coverage of every issue possible. And you get an idea about what kind of questions in the prelims and mains can be asked. So thereby, based upon such a methodology, I have devised monthly workbooks, and we have just started the program for the 2022 and 23 aspirants, including 2021 aspirants from the month of May. And the classes of those are available on the Unacademy app. To access those classes, you can use the code PAVNEET10 by downloading the Unacademy app, and through this particular code, you can access those classes also. Now, after every month, once the classes are over for all the topics, I'll be making YouTube videos, and I'll be providing you with a list of backward linkages of all the issues which were there in the news, which we have discussed in the class. So if you have participated with me in the classroom, which are free of cost classes, as I said, friends, then not only you will have a complete in-depth idea about what the topic is, but I'll now be in a position to help you better about the concept of backward linkages. So I hope that the concept is clear to you and it makes a lot of sense to you. Thank you very much.